The subject is Satya. Parahitartham Vang Manaso Yatharthatam Satyam. Satya implies proper action of mind and the right use of words with the spirit of welfare. It has no English synonyms. The word true or truth would be translated in Sanskrit as Rita, to state the fact. The word true or truth would be translated in Sanskrit as Rita, to state the fact. The sadhaka is not asked to follow the path of Rita. One is to practice Satya. The practical side of Satya is dependent on relativity, but its finality lies in Parama Brahma, the supreme spiritual entity. That is why Brahma is often referred to as the essence of Satya. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Even though the objective of a sadhaka is to achieve that ultimate entity, in the process sadhakas have to deal with the relativity of their surroundings. Humans are rational beings. They possess in varying degrees the capability to do what is necessary or good for humanity. In the realm of spirituality, such thought, word or action has been defined as Satya. For example, a person rushes to you for shelter. You do not know whether he is guilty or not. Or perhaps you know for certain that he is not guilty, he is followed by a ruffian bent on torturing him. If this terrified man seeks refuge in your house and then the ruffian comes and asks you regarding his whereabouts, what should you do? By adhering to Rita or truth, you would inform the ruffian of his whereabouts. Then if he is murdered, will you not be responsible for this murder? Your mistake may have resulted in the murder of an innocent person. By adhering to Rita or truth, you become indirectly guilty of this heinous crime. What would be your duty if you followed the correct interpretation of Satya? It would be not to reveal the whereabouts of the person, and rather to misguide the aggressor so that the refugee may safely return home. Suppose your mother is taking food. A letter is received about the death of your maternal grandfather. If mother inquires about the contents of the letter, what reply will you give? If you adhere to truth, you will reveal the news of her father's death, which will cause a great shock to her mind, and she would not even be able to take her food. It would be preferable in this case to state that all is well in their family. After your mother has had her food, a mention of her father's illness would prepare the ground for her to bear the news of the tragedy. In this way, even though something other than truth was uttered, the dignity of Satya has been maintained. Asteya paradravyapaharano tyagvasteyam. Not to take possession what belongs to others is asteya. It means non-stealing. Stealing may be of four types. First, physical theft of any material object. Ordinarily, those persons who steal material objects are called thieves. But thieves are not only those persons who flee with stolen objects after committing armed robbery. Whatever is taken in possession by the use of brute force, physical force of arms or of strength of intellect, whether it is money or goods, amounts to theft, because behind such actions there is an intention of taking others' property deceitfully. However, acceptance of anything like money, crops, gold, etc. in exchange for money in the proper way is not theft. Second, psychic theft. Here you did not take material possession of anything, but you planned it in your mind. This also called theft. because you have mentally stolen. Only the fear of law or of adverse criticism prevented you from doing the action physically. Third, depriving others of their due physically. Even if you do not take possession of what belongs to others, but you deprive others of what is their due, you become responsible for their loss. This is also stealing. Fourth, depriving others of their due mentally. If you do not actually deprive anybody of what is justifiable, their due, but you plan in your mind to do so, that too amounts to theft. Some explanation here is necessary regarding the third and fourth types of theft. Referred to above, you may have seen the many educated people travel by train without purchasing proper tickets. They do not directly steal money from the railway administration, but they deprive the railway administration of its due. A little thought will reveal that there is a sort of barter relationship of the passengers and the railway administration, and therefore ticketless travel amounts to theft of the type referred to under third and fourth above. Those who travel by train have obtained the facility from the railway administration. By purchasing tickets, they pay for that facility in full, and consequently the railway administration cannot be held in high esteem for rendering a social service. When the railway is not rendering free services, not to pay one's travelling fare is theft. Consider for a moment what type of person commits such a theft for a few rupees only. Often people of the type indulge in all types of tall talks, freely criticize the leaders and accuse them of corruption and nepotism. If their shortcoming is pointed out, they plead it is difficult to live in the world with such strict morality. Those who run the railway administration in such a manner deserve it. This type of theft is justified. Missionaries or ascetics who convey a divine message or political leaders with the noble purpose of doing good to the country are seen to be often indulging in ticketless travel. This is a daily occurrence. Bribing government implies to evade income and other taxes or demanding travelling allowance for a higher class when they actually travel in a lower class. These are all nothing but cheating. It is not only theft, it is also pettiness. All these tendencies to steal are contradictory to the code of Asteya. In many cases, even educated people often act knowingly against the principle of Asteya or do not want to accept that petty stealing violates it. The author was once questioned by an acquaintance who was a railway employee as to why he had purchased a full ticket for a nephew aged 13 years when a half ticket might have done, half tickets being permitted up to the age of 12 only. There are some moralists who do not want to cheat any particular individual, but do not consider anything wrong in cheating the well-to-do or the government. Many a shopkeeper would sell adulterated commodities to his customers, but entertain his own friends and guests with genuine items. It should be remembered that all actions with such a psychological background are against Asteya. The easiest way of practicing Asteya, as in the case of all other principles of Yama and Niyama, is auto-suggestion. If people right from the childhood remember these codes and remind themselves what is correct, they will not go astray when they grow up, even in the midst of temptations, and they will be able to maintain the high standard of thoughts and character.